Long ago in a distant land,
We're not doing this shit.
I, Legend, picked up a game that would have been snapped in pieces by a rage-filled rage monster.
You mean me?
Yes. Hello everyone, we're the Stardust Hunters, and we're fresh off the land of the weeb in the best way possible.
And
Can you call it the best way possible considering what just happened with me?
the worst way possible would be what we're playing Conception 2 again.
That's almost as bad a trigger for him as sea salt ice cream. Hey everyone, welcome to the Shooting Starcast, and what we were talking about before was Sekiro, because came out...
Of course we are! What else would we be talking about at this point? You know our channel!
I mean, we haven't had King of Cards yet, so yeah, we would be talking about Sekiro.
Yeah, so I'm the only one of these chuckle fucks who has the game.
Well, and about 2 days after you picked up the game, you said, "Fuck it! I would rather go up against Extreme Behemoth in Monster Hunter World," which is, by the way, the most bullshit fight in the game,
100 times.
"than have to play this again." And I said, "Okay, would you mind lending it to me for a day?"
Go ahead.
I came over, picked up the game, played it for a few hours, came back and said, "You need a lesson."
I even offered to buy it from you, and that still apparently fell through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came back and told this guy, "Let's go ahead and play this together. Only you are going to be playing through all of the mini-bosses, and I'm just going to let you do your thing."
Because in the first file, Leo had beaten all the bosses for me that had taken X amount of hours to beat.
Because I knew what I was doing somehow.
And then we came back, watched a body video, jumped into it, and within, maybe about 1-2 hours...
I had beaten all 3 bosses that Leo had beaten in 2 or 3 attempts. I beat in 1 attempt.
Yeah, it took around right before the fat bastard who spits poison at you.
Juzo the drunkard.
Yeah, it took right around there before you actually died.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
Wait, so you hadn't died, thus triggering the dragon's blessing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had not died up until that point.
I'm imagining the fanatics are going to try and beat the entire game
Without triggering
the dragon's blessing.
That would be amazing.
I mean, people have already found out that you can beat the intro fights,
Mm-hmm.
even though it functionally changes nothing, unfortunately.
Well, it does give you a different cutscene.
And
And
only marginally, and nothing that is as many have expected from Soft, actually worth a damn.
Yeah.
Remember, there were 2 achievements in Dark Souls 2: to beat the game without dying, and to beat the game without bonfires.
And you use your middle finger for that one.
well, it is possible to do both. And
In the same run.
And there are tutorials for doing that. The thing is...
It's so bullshit.
It is bullshit, forces you to play in a certain particular kind of way, and if you go out of your way to get treasures and loots, you're gonna get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, Sekiro, our impressions of it, the positive ones, because I know that you just lost to the final boss. We were there when it happened.
Well,
One of four.
One of 4 final bosses.
Because Rada's going down the arbitrary path first.
I'm going down the Dragon's Blood Severance line ending.
Okay.
The Dragon Severance line.
We won't describe what exactly that's like for those who have not played the game.
But yeah, basically it's a boss fight with a boss. The first stage is
It's a 4-stage boss fight. First off,
yeah, it's a 4-stage boss.
4 stages. We thought that 3 was bullshit from when we were doing
The Lady Maria... Not Lady Maria. It is Lady Maria?
No.
It's not Lady Maria. It's
Dark Souls 3.
Sister Freed.
There we
Sister
go.
Freed and the father.
Yeah. So stage 1.
Let's not talk about that, but let's keep going in terms of...
Yeah.
It's a 4-stage boss fight is all you really need to know.
Yeah, and I actually have seen guides on it, and the final stage involves lightning.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
I like lightning.
You have to jump up, take the lightning, and then repost it back.
Avatar Aang, you couldn't do this, could ya?
Nope.
Nope.
But
No.
positives. I do actually like the combat now.
When you know what you're doing.
When I know what I'm doing. The fights are actually really fun, and I know people are hating, like, the giant ape fight.
You mean like you 2 weeks ago?
That wasn't 2 weeks ago. That was literally 2 days ago.
Or I meant a week ago. Like
Yeah.
you were liking the combat compared to a week ago.
Right. And I will admit, you do have to look up, like, guides on how to beat certain bosses, because, like, there's this one guy you fight, like, right before the fight that Legends saw me beat.
Mm-hmm.
He basically will sheath his sword.
And then Bato Jutsu you.
He'll do it, but it'll be a two-hitter. He'll basically do it twice, and then sheath his sword again.
Yep.
So what you need to do is you need to wait for the flash. Guard. He does it again. Guard. Keep doing that, and he will stagger himself rapidly.
Yep.
You can actually beat him in 30 seconds. If you know how to do that.
And that's one of the cool things about Sekiro. You can go through what would be an absolute ass-long fight in a Souls game in a matter of seconds, if you're good.
Yep. I actually posted a video in our Discord chat of the corrupted monk fight. Did you watch that?
I don't think I did, but I did see what the corrupted monk is like from the Democracy video, because at this point, I just couldn't hold back.
Right.
Yeah. My self-control is ass when it comes to FromSoft.
So he's got 3 health bars.
Yep.
So what you do is immediately as you enter the arena, you hop up onto the branches, and as he appears, you dive down and take off 1 health bar. Then you immediately jump back into the trees as he's doing that illusion effect, jump back down, cut off his 2nd health bar.
The fact that you can one-shot strike him is just ridiculous.
And then, hit, firecracker, hit, firecracker, hit, firecracker, dead.
I would say that Rado is exaggerating,
I am not.
but there have been multiple times where I've sat in on a fight with you, and you have somehow turned Sekiro into a rhythm game in order to beat certain bosses.
What do you
Oh,
mean
yeah.
somehow?
Oh yeah, the long-armed centipede giraffe character.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Broke, kill.
Congratulations, you no longer have 2 left feet, Rado.
Okay, I just have to point out, you say somehow turned us into a rhythm game. It was built as one from the start, and FromSoft has been building nothing but rhythm games since its conception.
Would you testify that for Child of Cost as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Orphan of Kos is kind of a rhythm game.
And when you fail the input, you die.
Lady Maria is like one hell of a rhythm game.
Absolutely.
I thought Lady Maria was just R2 the win button.
No.
No.
She's a
Sorry, L2 the win button.
She's also a 3-stage boss fight, actually.
Yes, she is.
She's a 3-stage boss fight with 1 health bar, as opposed to Sekiro, which every phase is a separate health bar.
Yeah.
Yep, you can actually watch it now.
Right.
Yeah, you can actually figure out when it happens. But the one that we had just done recently, like 2 days ago, was the Guardian Ape.
This thing is a bit of a spoiler,
Yeah.
but...
They've actually done it.
Yeah.
FromSoft has actually gone ahead and pulled a fuck you on killing a boss.
Yep, and it's both simultaneously hilarious and terrifying.
So he fights like a more aggressive Dark Beast Parl from Bloodborne.
Dark Beast Pearl, yeah, with some poison effect for
He
added flavor.
farts at you and flings shit at you.
Mm-hmm. If you decide to keep your distance, he will projectile spam you.
Yeah.
If you try to sneak up behind him, he will poison you with toxic schmeck.
Honestly, but the best place to be is behind him.
Yeah.
But he's got a sword in his neck, and once you beat him, you actually take that sword and decapitate him.
Shall we go into spoiler territory because it's so much fun?
Oh yes, once after that happens, he gets back up.
And that's where every single Twitch streamer that I was watching actually shat themselves.
And if you do manage to die, you have to start from phase 1 all over again.
Yep.
Yep, which is just... ah!
And when you do kill... By the way, I found out the best way to kill him. When he raises his sword up in the air and then slams it down, you parry that, he collapses.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then you deal damage to him.
Yeah.
I should note that
And then you just guard everything else and avoid everything. Sorry.
I'm not going to say anything. I'll just go ahead and say the second phase of that fight really shows off just how incredible FromSoft is with their animations. The first phase, you look at that and you go, oh, that's absolutely a monkey.
Yeah.
That is abso-fucking-lutely a goddamn savage primal beast.
And then in stage 2, the thing is moving like a dancer from the Boreal Valley.
It is moving like a centipede on its rear legs. Do you know what that does to me?
Sends you
It
heebie-jeebies.
creeps me the fuck out.
Oh, especially considering that once you kill it, you pull a centipede out from the neck stump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
By the way, it's not dead yet.
I know about the.
I was about to ask you if you did the third fight with it.
Oh, you mean the fight where it's headless in an arena and then you attack it, and once you defeat its first health bar, it calls in the second ape?
It's mate.
Yeah, it's mate. Yeah, I did that one and I beat it. Because once it calls its mate, you gotta kill the mate first.
Okay.
And then you kill the guardian ape. But at this time, I had the mortal blade.
So you were able to finish it off for good.
Yes,
And
because
I'm going to reiterate.
yeah, because I'll say this: when I killed it, it was still twitching, and then I saw a trigger for a kill move, and I was like, "What?" And then I just saw him pull out the mortal blade, stab the centipede, and rip it out of the body, and just cut it in half.
Good. I hate centipedes.
And then
they're my least favorite creature on planet Earth.
Yeah, and instead of saying Shinobi Execution, it said Immortality Severed.
And that's where you know, oh hey, this is a different kind of kill. Kind of like Bloodborne, actually.
Yes.
Which is great. I like that.
Uh-huh.
He's good.
But yeah, immortality is apparently tied to these centipede motherfuckers, because the corrupted monk has one in it too.
Yep.
Corrupted monks.
Well, there's two. The first one you fight is in Mibu Village, and it's an illusion.
The real one's in the place of the niceness.
The Fountainhead Plaza is what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful location.
Oh yes, just don't swim in the water, otherwise you'll get lightning zapped.
All right, so there's one question that I wanted to pose to you all, and that is comparing Neo to this game, Sekiro.
Different. This is true Ninja Souls compared to Neo, which is more Samurai Souls.
I've heard this is called Stealth Souls.
That is also true. You're really not stealthy in Neo. Stealth isn't really even a consideration most of the time.
It's much more akin to a Japanese Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
So more wholesale, and you really have more of the emphasis on martial combat, face-to-face duel style, as opposed to Sekiro's hit-and-run assassination, I'm going to leverage every single tool in my arsenal up your butt style.
Yeah, because in some bosses you can actually do a sneak attack on them and take away one of their 2 health bars.
Like we mentioned before. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then you just have to deal with regular combat with it after that.
There's also no such thing as ranged in Sekiro.
Yep.
You have the Fire Blast and you have Shuriken, but those do jack shit for actual fighting. Whereas in Neo, you have
can kill
bows,
things at range.
you have long rifles, and you have goddamn cannons.
Yeah. Like
with bone ash cannon.
I'm trying to think of all the different shinobi weapons. Let's see. There's the shuriken.
Shuriken, there's the flamethrower.
There's the firecrackers. There's the umbrella. There's a poison little dagger. There's
The axe.
There's the loaded axe. There's the loaded spear. There's something called the raven's feathers, and then there's this one orange fan thing that can actually turn enemies around, allowing you to backstab them.
Which is all fun. Though I think that there's one big thing that separates Neo from Sekiro, and it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Level design.
Yep.
Sekiro is built in such a way that the level is as much your weapon as the goddamn tool in your hand.
Uh-huh. There's actually a fun little area in like Mount Kongu where you actually have to use one of your ability called Possession, where you sneak attack an enemy, kill it, possess it, and it works for you. It's a puppet for you, and it activates this little kite thing that you can grapple onto a far-off location.
Which is just absolutely phenomenal. And the locations of grass, location of grapple points, and just the fact that you will be hit from above, from below, from every which way that you can conceivably imagine if you're not paying attention. I'm looking at you, rooftop man. You fucking kite-wielding motherfuckers. I've seen your shit. That is the most hilarious way to die I've ever seen.
Looking back on it, why did no one ever think to block? Like, seriously, like, you, by that point in the game, you are that experienced that this should not be a surprise to you, but it is.
Have you seen the Proulx Sekiro video?
I have not yet.
I need to see it.
Because the guy in the kite was doing praise the sun, praise the sun, praise the sun!
Are you telling me Solaire has goddamn suicide bombers now?
Yes! Yes, he is. He does.
I will go ahead and leverage a few complaints, or rather warnings about Sekiro.
If you're a Souls player, you are going to hate your fucking guts.
Because I will say, there are 3 things that I will say that is, I would say, misleading about Sekiro. The first is, you don't level up in the traditional manner.
Right. What you do is you gain experience, and you get points. If you die before you get that point, you lose half of your experience and half of your gold with no means of recovering that.
Not to mention, you spread dragon cancer.
That's not really what I'm getting at. The problem is the points only unlock you special moves.
Yeah.
What they don't do is they don't raise your HP, and they don't raise your attack damage.
In order to do that, you need prayer beads.
Which you only get from killing mini-bosses.
And there are some hidden specific locations.
So, kind of like a heart piece.
Yeah. You need 4 of them.
However, if you want to raise your attack,
you need to beat specific bosses and obtain the memory of beating their asses. Sit at one of the sculptor idols and relive that memory in order to boost your attack power. And by the way, it's just, you sit there, you think about it for a second, and then you get the attack boost.
But that means you cannot grind. You cannot power level yourself to greatness.
Actually, there is a way. You need the dragon mask, which is in 3 pieces. Left, right, and the top part.
But if you're starting this game?
You don't have that.
Oh, which means that you can't grind.
How far? Go ahead and explain.
Okay, one part of the mask is early on in the flashback.
Okay.
The second half is in Fountainhead Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
The third part is in Ashina Temple. The left and right side require you get treasure carp scales to buy them. Okay. 7 and 12 respectively. So you need 19 treasure carp scales to get the 2 halves. You need 5,000 sen to get the top piece. And once you have that, it's automatically in your inventory, fully completed. And when you go to a sculptor's idol, you can actually use those points, 5 points, to raise your attack power by 1.
Oh yeah, the attack power is in single digits.
Yes.
If you had a damage boner in your Dark Souls 2 days, you will be sorely disappointed here.
There is no attack rating. Fuck attack rating, says Sekiro.
Yeah, but in short, yeah, you need the dragon mask, which I still haven't gotten yet. Because I still need treasure carp scales.
I'm waiting for the 1 damage playthrough of Sekiro now.
What, the no-hit run?
No, the 1 attack power run.
The unbuffed run. Because those motherfuckers, Zero Lenny, I'm looking at you, are going to do the broken sword, the ladle, the whatever you please it to call it. It is going to happen.
Oh, you know what he's going to do? No shinobi tools.
No shinobi tools, no sneak attacks.
No prayer beads, no attack power.
No revival.
If you die, just dragon cancer.
Well,
no, if you die, if you don't allow yourself to revive.
So here's the thing I've heard about that.
Yeah.
All right.
The dragon cancer is actually based not on the number. It's based on the actual number of deaths,
Not revivals.
Not revivals.
Right.
So it is, as you say, it's like a traditional Souls punishing system.
Right. When you accept the death, Everyone
that goes to the trigger.
Yeah.
Funny thing, though, you can die, revive, then GTFO, homeward bone in this game. It's like a sculptor thing.
Or however you want to get back to a checkpoint.
Get back to the checkpoint, rest, and then think about what you did wrong for a little bit before you jump back into it, figure it out little bit by little bit, and then go, oh, okay.
Unless you're in a boss arena.
Unless you're in a boss arena. But for most mini-bosses,
Can't you still... Well, I guess that's kind of difficult considering how aggro these bosses are. But I have seen people GTFO with the homeward idol out of boss arenas before. Can you do that still?
if you can get away with it, yes. Yes, you can.
Probably.
So there you go. So, I mean, it will take time, but I would assume that would be the preferred way of doing it.
Final boss arena is a bit iffy for that, I think. I don't know if you're allowed...
There's still a rock. Granted, granted, they will probably restart at full because that would be busted.
Yeah. Well, what you would have to do is you have to fight the first phase again.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like that I'm not expecting you to work your way down and then come out and then go back in and then fight the boss where he was.
Well, the Dragon Rot really doesn't do much except reduce your unseen aid.
Which is it instead of losing half of your experience in gold,
You lose a quarter.
I thought you keep it.
No, you keep a reduced amount.
Okay.
So, speaking as someone who has played both Nioh and Sekiro, and thinking about it while everyone's been talking, I can say that the other big thing that I was trying to get at with Nioh versus Sekiro is that in Sekiro, the environment is a weapon. In Nioh, the environment is yet another enemy.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If you've played the game, you know what I'm saying when I say, fuck the bats.
Yeah.
Fuck the bats.
Yeah, but the bats are in conspicuous places where you would expect them.
Not the first time. And you only get the warning about the bats after you've been thrown off the cliff.
Yeah, because they copied From Soft right down to their humor.
They
wasn't
weren't
humor.
copying their humor. They were imitating their punchline. That's not the same.
I don't know. I don't think we've ever had a pendant in the game again.
Oh, in Nioh? Nah, I wouldn't say there's no pendant.
I mean, in any Dark Souls game outside of the first.
The shield weapon in Bloodborne.
True, but that is specifically to drive the point home. So at the very least, it does that.
Yeah.
The other thing that Nioh does is that it places almost all of its emphasis on its weapons.
Oh yeah, I hope you like katanas because you ain't getting anything else.
Yeah. You get one katana, and then you get the Mortal Blade, which just stays on your back for only when you need to kill immortal enemies.
Which is again... Hang on. So he has one sword for human enemies, and one sword for the divine.
God damn it, it's CD Projekt Red.
You are a witcher, Sekiro.
You're a witcher, Harry. Says Gandalf.
But what I was going to say was... yeah, so compared to Nioh, who has, in addition to the long-range arsenal, which actually kills, you have swords, spears, axes, kusarigama, and you even have spells.
Yep. You have the full Souls package.
The full Souls package. And even the Shinobi Tree in Nioh acts as an item buffer. So if you want to have a bunch of items to throw at the opponent...
Bombs for throwing.
You totally could.
By the way, one of the upgrade paths for one of the kunai, for the shuriken, is, you know Lady Butterfly.
Yes.
You actually get her kunai as the weapon.
Okay.
Nice.
And when you fling it, it causes butterflies to fly out and then aim for the opponent. And damages them even if they're guarding.
Which is awesome. But there is one thing that I do want to point out about all the ranged options in Sekiro.
Yeah?
They're not meant to kill most enemies. They're meant to disrupt them.
They're meant to disrupt, stagger, or cause poison damage.
And set up for the almighty one-shot.
As opposed to, as I said before, in Nioh, they actually kill things.
Yeah. Loaded axe is really good for shielded enemies. You pound them, and then you finish them.
Whereas in Nioh, you have to kind of unlock abilities to let you do that shit. And you have to be really be paying attention to like what is really good for taking out enemies.
Not to mention, the stance system in that game emphasizes itself to dodge more, whereas in Sekiro, it's all about the deflect.
And that's a funny thing about FromSoft that I was discussing before we started this podcast. The idea that I've seen FromSoft pushing forward is we need to grow. Whatever we saw going wrong in our previous game, we're going to adapt and kind of build off of that.
So because magic was OP in Dark Souls 2, that's why they nerfed into the ground in Dark Souls 3.
There's that. There's also the fact that in Dark Souls 2, they noticed that people were backstab fishing like motherfuckers in fucking Dark Souls 1, and that poise was an absolute garbage ass.
Which is why they removed poison 3 and even had enemies that would punish you for backstab fishing.
In Dark Souls 2, even.
Yep.
So, yeah, they've been really building things up. And then when they got to Bloodborne...
Which was during 3's production, mind you.
Right. There was that little shield thing. As if to say, you motherfuckers, I, the great Miyazaki, have blessed you with an amazing way to GTFO out of getting hit, and you motherfuckers have not been using it. I'm going to give you a gun, a flashy step so that it looks cool when you do it, and I expect you to mash that dodge button like a mother.
Yeah, and it works.
It did work, until they got to Dark Souls 3, and now they're spamming it. And then Miyazaki looks at this and goes,
yeah, fuck you, you ain't spam dodging anymore. You are going to stand there and deflect these attacks, motherfucker.
you wanted Dark Souls 1 again, right?
I
I want to restage this in Japan.
We're going. So yeah, combat for Sekiro is basically you stand still and you deflect. When you see the kanji show up, you either dodge
Or you counter.
or you Makiri counter if you see it's a thrust.
Yes, you must counter his vigorous thrusting by stomping on his balls.
No, you're stomping on the tip.
Yep, exactly.
Which, because of this change in philosophy direction, has led to the infamous quote of people buying the game only to return it 4 hours later.
I was almost one of those.
Yes, you were, Raider.
one of those.
Well, no, I was hoping to get $50 from Leo over here.
And then you changed your mind.
Yeah.
I kind of changed his mind. Sorry, Leo.
It's all good.
Well, now you just need to get it yourself.
No, I'll just wait for you to finish it and then I'll borrow it off you.
Well, after this podcast is done, and
I'm pretty sure Sekiro is shorting 10 years of your life right now.
yeah,
You're gonna have as much gray hair as the one-armed wolf over there.
It's only on one side of his face.
No, that's a birthmark. He actually has white hair.
I don't know. It's
no,
like
it's
wasn't.
not a birthmark. That stuff on his face is the
Dragons.
dragon's stuff.
Right, but that's what I mean. It looks like a birthmark. And then he also has white hair anyway. But
Yeah. Well,
um,
technically, so does the little kid too.
he's graying early. That might just be because he's the divine heir, and it's very stressful.
I swear, I'm not Princess Peach. I'm better than that.
Well, at least he can actually do shit.
Yeah, at least he actually does shit.
And
He's
he does-
got an agenda.
And he technically doesn't bleed unless he's cut with a mortal blade, so he's kind of immortal?
I tried to be emo. It didn't work.
That being said, Rita, you're gonna have to go back and play the other 3 endings because that's the only way you will fight those bosses.
I know, there's, you can actually, there's a,
Spoilers.
spoilers coming up. I saw a boss fight for, you fight Owl in, like, the area where you fought Lady Butterfly.
Yeah, that's okay. You saw that fight. Good.
Yeah.
That one is ass.
By the way, fighting Owl in the other part is a pain in the ass. That is
Equally a pain in the ass.
it is an endurance run. Because you literally have to wait for him to do the 1-2 kunai and then jump in the air and slam his katana down for you to actually hit him.
And he fights like a ninja, which means he uses misdirection, trap setting, insta-kill moves.
And lies.
Lies like a motherfucker.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
But nothing.
Oh, and also he basically has the Lloyd's Talisman as well.
Oh, he has Lloyd's Talisman.
And he can also fling poison.
But my favorite boss fight which may be the first one I tried, which may be the first path I tried to do, is the one where you kill your firekeeper.
Really?
Yep.
You
can.
actually can fight Emma.
And she
She
is hard.
kicks your balls in.
Really?
Yes.
Well, just to put some perspective on this, you know every single unblockable attack that is available?
To the Ashinas.
Those are the 3. There's the thrust, there's the sweep, and
then
there's the grab.
cross.
Yeah.
She has all of them.
And she uses the cross slash.
Yes.
In fact, that is the earliest time you can encounter the cross slash.
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm going to have to look at Democracy's video now that I've gotten this far in the game.
Yes.
Sure.
And go back and enjoy your 3 other playthroughs.
Oh, okay, and then I'll loan you my game.
Does this make it the most replayable FromSoft game?
Dark Souls 2
You can
had...
also do New Game Plus, apparently, where I think you can carry over.
And make the game harder.
Mhm.
2 times over.
I would argue that Dark Souls 2 had a completely different game after the first run-through.
Sure.
So there's that. But to the point where you're trying to get like all these different endings, I would say that Dark Souls 3 probably has 4 endings, possibly, depending on how you look at it.
It does, technically, but only 3 of them are actually recognized because the difference between 2 of them is very minor.
And really, it's just a matter of whether or not you get the cutscene or not.
Right. So, this is 4 true, actually different endings.
Yeah. So, 4 recognized endings that you could probably get achievements for. Yeah, I would say that Sekiro has the most official different endings.
Yeah. Dark Souls 4 confirmed.
Anyway, I think we've rambled on about Sekiro long enough. We're half an hour into this thing, and we haven't even gotten to the news.
Rado, have you done anything else with your week?
Drawing a little bit, planning a comic. That's about it.
Legend, anything else you did with your week?
Well, there was one thing that I did, and that
Okay.
was something that could easily lead us into another half-hour discussion.
Bottom line it.
No, because you guys would be the ones continuing the conversation.
Which is?
I played Zelda 2.
Oh, right. You were telling me this before we started as well.
Yep, I played Zelda 2 on a ROM. Hello, phone. And I was playing through it, and I was looking at it, and then I thought to myself, this feels familiar. But I mean, I've played Zelda 2 before. Why am I feeling nostalgic for something else? And then I got to the Dark Nuts in one of the temples, started actually fencing with the motherfucker, and realized, oh shit, this is pre-FromSoft.
You were having flashbacks to FromSoft games.
Yes, and I'm not going to say that, well, it's because the game's hard. Don't compare me to those journalists. I'm not that bad. But it was a bit of a funny little bit of a moment where I realized, wait a minute. Enemies that can steer EXP, that's like Demon Souls. Difficult, but rewarding gameplay if you can actually put up with the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely any FromSoft game. The fact that I actually felt like I was jousting and like poking at the defenses of this stupid knight. What the fuck? FromSoft? I can't call you original anymore. You ripped off Zelda 2 for fucking Demon Souls.
You know, you really should check out some of their early games, like a Let's Play or something.
Oh, yeah, I definitely should.
Kingsblade?
Yeah, Kingsblade for... Kingsfield, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, looking at Zelda 2, I realized this was the first true... Bless you, Pepper. It was the first true action RPG that I'd ever seen. And looking at that, I went, yeah, I could sort of see this as like the grandfather of all our modern FromSoft games.
Bless you, Pepper.
All right.
And besides that, and this is just like more of a humorous side note, played Fire Emblem Fates and started modding it.
Oh, God.
Oh, that story. Yeah, you need to tell this one.
Absolutely. This should get a good chuckle into. So I went to my cousin's place, Silver Jolteon, and he went ahead and hooked me up with some mods. And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Game me up. That's a fun thing to say out of context, but basically it was a sort of remaster of the entire support system that allowed for what they were hinting at before the release.
To quote Penny Parker, Yuri time.
Oh, absolutely. So And then opening up those options and actually adding to the characters, that seemed like a great time.
I was surprised you were not insulted by the fact that you invoked the name Penny Parker and that.
I'm really not following. I'm just trying to get to my story.
I will tell you after the podcast.
Fine. If you are all laughing already, fine by you.
Really?
And fine by me. Okay, so I go ahead and I say, yeah, let's go ahead and revamp my support system. And then Silver Jolteon tells me, oh yeah, there's a warning here. Warning? What warning? And he goes, well, apparently you're not supposed to play this on a game that's already running. You have to start a new game and then load the mod into it. Otherwise, it's going to screw around with your supports. And I looked at him and I said, that sounds fun.
Oh, God.
Let's see what happens. Load the mod, open up the game, open up one of my old files where I was currently married to Rinka with a kid, no less. And I got to see that somehow I had divorced from my wife and married my cousin and my supposed little sister from Hoshiro.
Oh, Gela.
And I'm looking at this, and I'm laughing. And I show Silver, and now he's laughing. Because we both recognize that somehow this mod had decided to pick the two most purposefully I am going to hell characters to marry to ship me up with. That was just a special moment.
Oy.
Tale as old as time.
Oh, God.
All right. With that chicanery done, let's get to the news.
What, you're not going to talk about your week?
I didn't have much of a week aside from that.
All right. So, first off, Kaz Hirai to retire from Sony. Wasn't he the CEO or something?
$599 US.
And now we know who he is.
Right.
And they're it's kind of odd to see that he's going. Sony's been doing pretty well.
Well, the man has been a chairman at the end of his 35-year career.
35 years in the business. That's not too bad.
So he's retiring much like Fizime was.
Closer to if Iwata actually stepped down.
Rest in peace.
Hirai is stepping down as both president and CEO of Sony. And so he is passing the baton to Yoshida-san and is going ahead and is taking his well-deserved rest despite the previously mentioned mishaps that happened while he was at the wheel.
Well,
Yeah,
to be
because...
fair,
Well, I'll be honest, Sony has a bad case of hubris quite often.
there are those moments, and for the love of God, we can't get up a Let's Play with anything licensed by Sony without getting hit with a ban hammer.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, like, at least for me, the PlayStation was my main system that I played after the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo.
And it rapidly became mine.
PS2 was what I grew up on post-64 era.
So I think that there was a lot that they did right, and even with the stuff that they did wrong, I would say they still are in a better position than Microsoft even now.
Everyone's in a better position than Microsoft.
Well, look, Microsoft may have the better hardware, but there's no goddamn software that I want to play on it.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Because it's either a Sony exclusive or an indie that I could get off of the Nintendo shop.
And even then, there's very, very few Microsoft exclusives
that are worth playing.
You could easily play them on other systems, and you'd have a much fun
Or
time.
a PC, even.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, you actually had a thing that could run the stuff, which I can't because I'm using a goddamn MacBook.
But that's neither here nor there. Either way, another grand master of the video game era stepped down.
Yeah, which means we're going to be approaching a brand new era of video games, for better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what it brings.
All right, what's next on our hit list?
Google is ready for battle with its own console of
Okay,
sorts.
let me rephrase what I said. This is no longer a hit list, this is a shit list. Let
Uh,
us go into this.
Console in big air quotes there, Rado.
The Stadia, their game streaming platform.
Now remind me, how much does it take to run this?
Google's estimates for the Stadia suggest that you should have an internet that runs 20 gigabytes an hour.
And what is the standard?
I'm pretty sure most people have like 8 gigabytes a month.
So
At best, sometimes.
we're looking at a streaming service that can't stream.
Correct.
Bingo.
I smell a flop.
Also, there is no hardware that is launching with the Stadia. This isn't even like the Ouya or the Steam Link. This is a website that you stream video games from that you can't stream video games from.
Yep. And the problem is you're streaming them for like a subscription service, if I recall right.
Yes, it is.
You don't own the games.
Correct.
So if you have say this does work out. Say you live in an area where you've got like
You live in San Francisco. You're paying out the wazoo for Google Fiber.
Yep. And you've got this, and you have, like, say, a decent collection sometime in the future. Then they just suddenly say, we're done with this console. We're shutting down the servers. You don't get to keep any of those games. Fuck you.
I just had a moment the other day where I was looking through music on iTunes, and I had purchased some Street Fighter music a while back, and I was thinking, you know what? Let me go ahead and see what other songs I can get from that album, and the album was gone. They decided they didn't have the license or they weren't going to sell it anymore. So I can't legally buy those songs anymore because there's no market for me to buy them from.
The biggest thing that will attract any third-party game developer to a platform is, A, people are actually going to play it and play it for a while, buy for that system, and continue to reliably buy for that system, and in general have a certain accessibility that, doesn't get in the way of you being able to play the game. Like, say, I don't know, the fucking Kinect.
Well,
That got in the ways of the games.
I can at least see from a like a more casual perspective that if you wanted to play games but you didn't want to shell out for a video game console, this could be an alternative.
Except that it sounds like you'd have to pay for the entire internet to get it too.
Right.
Which is costly,
Right.
inaccessible, and doesn't feel like it's got a good long-term idea behind it.
This is why I don't believe in the idea of going all digital for anything. This is why I like to have physical copies of games.
I mean, memory storage, cloud storage, I'm down for that.
But it's never been used properly, sadly.
Well, in terms of like saving data for my games, my physical games, I'm okay with that. Like, for the most part. Like, being able to back up my stuff from an outside source, I'm okay with that.
That's fine, but don't make that the default.
Because if they shut down the service or the access point for you to get your stuff, you've just invested easily hundreds of dollars into something that you no longer have access to.
Yep.
And that is shit.
Yep.
Yep. Hence why I tend to buy games physical, not digital, unless there's no other choice.
Alright, so, where do we go from here?
Xbox, there's a rumor around, not Xbox, we'll get to that. There's a rumor going around that Nintendo's going to be releasing 2 new Switch models this year. An extra large Pro version, which will probably have more memory, more processing power, yada yada yada. And a mini model that doesn't allow for it to be docked, which is more for a to-go version, like the DS or 3DS.
Which is okay. Something that I wanted to bring up, and maybe I brought it up before, there's a bit of a running gag amongst 3DS modders, that the 3DS is the most stable system to ever exist.
Really?
They say this ironically.
Oh.
Because of the sheer number of stability patches that Nintendo released in order to stop the modders from fucking modifying the game.
And then there was a problem in the actual Switch itself that was not fixable that allowed people to hack it.
Oh yeah, and I know for a fact Silver Jolteon has hacked his, though he immediately got kicked out from the Nintendo store.
Yeah, but I mean, people are going to do that so that they can either play the games that they want to play, or so that way they can mod the way that they want to mod. Mm-hmm. So there's no real stopping, and it's just a matter of the arms race is eventually going to be a point where Nintendo doesn't care anymore.
Yep, it actually got to that point
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. But the rumor is apparently coming from Wall Street Journal, of all places, and is apparently based into the physical manufacturers of the Switch.
If we are going to see these new systems, it'll be very interesting, and it'll broaden the market for them.
And to those who think that this is a farce, I have one phrase for you.
Please, by all means, say it.
New Nintendo 2DS XL. And that is why I never buy the first of any console. I wait until they come out with the Supreme version, which is why I have a PS4 Pro.
That said, you do need that early market in order to actually kick your game system off the ground.
Right. So, but then they end up releasing the better version 2 years down the line anyway.
And then
Then what's the point?
Exactly.
The point
Well,
is
the point
they
is-
make used consoles that I can actually afford.
The trade-off is that you don't get to play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee on release.
Bless you,
You don't
bastard.
get to play Smash on release.
It has been a sad time, my friends.
So that's why they have the power releases right now.
Bless you, Pepper.
But if you can withstand that temptation, then you'll get the better deal.
You'll get the better deal, sure. But I
Unlike-
do want to support my systems.
Unlike the following system.
Oh, please, no!
The-
it hurts! Oh, this
Ninte-
is so sad!
Microsoft unveils the Xbox One S all digital.
So this is the
One
Xbox...
XS, all digital.
This is the Xbox One sad.
Now this is the Xbox sad.
Xbox One XS, all digital. Xbox sad, and it is a sad console indeed because there's still nothing for me to get for the Xbox.
That you can't get elsewhere.
Exactly. My main reason for playing games is action games, kind of like Sekiro, or Devil May Cry 5, or RPGs.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts and the like.
And the Tales series.
The Tales series. Let's see. What else do I have? I've got Final Fantasy. I've got Dragon Quest.
You know what else all of those games have in common?
What?
They're physical copies.
Yes!
What is this system?
All digital.
I think we've lost a buyer.
And but it is supposed to be less expensive than the Xbox One XS.
But the problem is, digital versions of games are still just as expensive as physical versions, for the most part.
Unless you catch it on a sale, and not even a good sale.
Yeah.
It feels like someone from the mobile game market is in charge of this system.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like someone who has been on 4chan a little bit too much. He was on the naming department.
Oh, speaking of 4chaners, Notch got removed from all game loading screens in Minecraft.
Oh, here we go.
Bum, bum, bum.
So I'm just going to tell you, Notch Pearson is a complete and utter trash fire of a human being. He's completely intolerant. He's completely transphobic. So he can go ahead and suck a big fat dick.
So, this apparently has to do with the fact that he has been removed from the splash screen on PC.
Yep.
But he is still in the credits. And I know at the very least that the splash screen was in part the reason Herobrine became a thing. Oh, sorry, no, that was the patch notes.
Yeah.
But even then, Notch's initial influence on the game was one of its big charms.
Yep. And I believe that there was actually a Minecraft reference in Skyrim.
Yes, there is.
The notched pickaxe at the top of the throat of the world.
Which lets you mine 10% faster.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big influence that Notch had on Minecraft.
So while he can still be renowned as as inventor of probably one of the first true indie games.
And the progenitor of the crafting movement for most indie games.
He can also still be known as a shit person.
Yep. He can go ahead and rot in his candy mansion for all I care.
Alright, let's move on.
I'm not kidding. He literally has a wall of candy that literally started to rot in his house.
Well, good for him. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't play Minecraft. But I do know the references, and I recognize the place in history.
Yes.
I'm trying to fit in a Candy Crush joke in there, but I think it's just too sweet for my taste.
I'd say it'd go a little sour if you asked me.
No, think on the bright side. As in Luminous Productions. Wow, I'm just killing it with these segues.
Yeah, and puns.
But
That was
yeah,
a pun.
Luminous Productions.
That was an absolute pun. You bastard.
Hey, I can have one every once in a while.
Then stop riding your asses, damn it.
No, I'll keep riding your asses until the cows come home.
Do I need to go ahead and step out for a minute?
No, you're part of this menage a trois.
Majah. All right, so Luminous Productions. Who are they? What they are? Fuck. What are they behind?
Luminous Productions are the assholes behind Final Fantasy 15.
You say that with some spite in your voice.
Well, yeah, because I liked Final Fantasy 15, and yet I also utterly despise it.
Like most things I've come to notice.
Topical.
Either way, they are promising that they have a new project after they are finally done with Final Fantasy 15, having cleaned themselves of episode Arden rather recently.
Yeah, episode Arden's done, so they're probably getting.
Have you touched the DLC for that game?
You know what's fucked up? I bought all the DLC for it.
And you haven't played it?
Nope, I started the game again on a New Game Plus file.
And you said nope?
I said nope halfway through. I was still in the open world area. I didn't even bother getting into the water town yet.
Huh.
I was like, I really don't want to do this again. And that's why I'm kind of meh about the goddamn game. There's no reason for me to go back to it.
Not even to find out what happens to Arden?
No, not really. I'll just find a Let's Play.
And then I wonder why a lot of companies crack down on Let's Plays. I'm not riding on your ass. I'm a little concerned at the fact that we are going to be seeing a harder crackdown on Let's Plays in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't include it on the roster, but Article 13 did pass in EU, so they're going to have issues with it.
By the way, that's going to take 2 years for it to pass. And by the way, a lot of people realize that they voted wrong, and they want to redo their vote.
All right, I'm going to go on a slight political tangent for 1 minute.
Yeah.
If the fuckers in Britain couldn't realize what they were doing with Brexit, and we're having the same shit again with Article 13, then that sucks for them, but you're gonna have to... You pick the horse. Ride it, motherfuckers.
Well, here's the thing. The only reason that it only passed by 5 votes, and over 13 people want to take back their vote.
It was 1% difference for Brexit! And they still can't decide whether or not they're still going to go through with it or not.
Yeah, by the way, if Brexit does happen, the UK is going down in flames.
Political rant over. Let's talk about Hitler.
Yes, let's talk about Hitler.
Hitler, a.k.a. Konami, planning several special anniversary collections, starting with Castlevania.
I remember you two lost it when I said Hitler instead of Konami.
Well, you're not wrong.
I was just surprised that was coming out of you.
You underestimate me.
I expect that from Rado. I fully expect it from Rado at this point.
I've seen the shit that went down with Konami.
Fair enough.
I'm going to call them Hitler. Their company is basically a giant camp.
Fair enough. The collection they are planning 3 different anniversaries collections, focusing between the classics, 4 of the Castlevania games, Castlevania 1 from the NES, Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, Dracula's Curse, and Super Castlevania 4.
I don't trust this. Mainly because it's Konami.
Anyone remember the Silent Hill HD collection?
Anyone remember PT?
Yeah.
Anyone remember Metal Gear Solid 5?
Anyone remember
Metal Gear Solid Survive.
Yeah.
No.
They also mentioned that this is all going to be released in the summer, and the Contra collection is going to include Contra 1, Super Contra, Super C, and Contra 3: The Alien Wars. So, at most, the only one that's going to have more than 4 games is their arcade classics, which really doesn't have that much to it aside from their shooters. So it's going to be kind of a low-balled roster. So if they're charging any more than $20 for each, I think people are going to get ripped off.
I think they're getting ripped off just because they're Konami.
Yeah.
Any money going their way now is just, it's better spent elsewhere.
It's blood money, pretty much.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to put it.
Yeah.
All
Anyway, moving
We
on.
need a palate cleanser. We need a palate cleanser. Can we get some positive news coming out?
How about some D&D stuff?
Hell yeah!
All right. I have yet to actually pitch into this one, but I plan to, which is why I put it on the list here today.
As you described it, it's a Redwall kind of inclusion.
Yes. So this is the Humblewood campaign setting. No relation to Humble Bundle.
Nope. Though it was definitely the first thing that came to mind when I saw it.
Same.
Right. Humblewood, just Humble Bundle. It just seems to mesh well together.
A humble bundle of wood.
So the Humblewood campaign setting is effectively a homebrewed campaign setting, much like the Tal'Dorei setting that Matthew Mercer put out.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to introduce a number of birdfolk races, new monsters, and a whole new storyline for players to adventure through.
Definitely one of the ones that stood out to me was the owl people.
You like your owls?
We used to have a friendly owl that would stop by and play with our dog.
So
I'm pretty partial to the owls.
Reading from the Kickstarter page, in the world of Everden, nestled between the mighty Crest Mountain Range and the vast marshes of the Mock Fields, lies a mystical forest known as Humblewood that hums with the great rhythm of nature. It has been ruled for generations by birdfolk who inhabit the great tree city of Alderheart. Humblewood has endured for centuries thanks to the industry and compassion of its people. And so here you have a level 1 to 5 campaign, which is perfect for newcomers, and you go ahead and you level through this adventure. They only asked for $20,000 initially, and are currently sitting on $396,000 with 11 days to go with their campaign.
So they've met their goal.
They have met their
exceeded
and then some. In terms of what they are doing now with that extra money, is that they're planning on doing reference cards. They have hardback campaign books, full miniatures of some of the races that some of the heroes that they plan to make.
Cool.
A box set which includes the book, the reference cards, and a map. Standees, battle maps, and even deluxe editions that come with exclusive covers, dice, pins.
So they've got the whole works.
And even a tarot deck.
Tarot deck?
Tarot deck, tarot card binder, a specially crafted dice. And really all they're doing is that at this point, the more money gets into their... the more money they raise, the more miniatures they can create. So far, they have a miniature series called the Citizens of Alderheart, so NPCs around the city.
Okay.
And the next one is Beasts of the Wood. So this one would be more monsters.
Okay.
The next two are Boneyard Birds, which would basically be bird people zombies.
Okay.
And then the last one are Aspects of Fire, which is what from within the lore, basically animal elementals.
I can think of a few right off the top of my head that could definitely fit these descriptions.
Fire Rat is surprisingly not in there.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That was the first one that came to my mind.
I know, right? We're a bunch of weeaboos.
Yeah, Neo tried as well, didn't it?
Yeah, Shadows die twice in this bitch.
So, which collection are you going to get?
I'm just chipping in with the basic $10 to get the PDF version.
Okay.
But every little bit counts. Trust me, if I had more disposable income, I would be donating a lot more often to things like this.
Because I picture you getting like the hardcover with the map.
I would if I had the money. I actually invested really early on into Shovel Knight when it first got announced, which is why I get all the DLC free every time it comes out. Of course, I only have it for PC, so I actually can't take it on the go, but not as much as I would like.
And the DLC is kind of now free now with the Treasure Trove collection.
Yeah, but you have to buy the Treasure Trove at like $40. I think I got everything for $20.
Yacht Club has definitely been consistently reliable.
We'll get to them in a little bit.
Yeah, but
The only
we
thing
got
that's not reliable is the release dates.
Yeah, tell me about it. But let's move on. We have
something else from White Wolf. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
it's not White Wolf that's doing Humblewood, but it's a different company.
I know, but like speaking of game companies, I was
Okay.
saying White Wolf.
Sure. Let's talk about Vampire the Masquerade.
I'm suddenly thinking of an abridged series author who played this game
I'm thinking.
with Bakura.
I am thinking of a Vampire Harley Quinn because that's exactly what's on the cover.
You know what's weird? Why have you seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged Legend and you haven't, Leo?
Because I cannot stand the pace at which they go through those episodes.
Well, considering their source material, and this was the first
I
time
watched the
abridged
source
happened.
material. Maybe that's why it's kind of like the reason I think DBZ Abridged did so well is because everyone was going off of nostalgia, so no one actually remembers like the exact word for word from Dragon Ball Z.
No one remembers that the first episodes were ass!
It was not until Kai came out that people actually started going like, oh yeah, this is actually abysmal. Like the pacing is just sluggish.
And even Kai was cut down
And Kai, they cut out some of the filler allegedly
and made Popo purple.
because Japan and America.
I don't know if it was the Kai people who did that.
Yeah, it was
I'm
the
not
Kai
sure.
It was the Kai people because in the original run he was black.
with red lips.
He's a genie.
Yeah,
Just
but
because he's black.
yeah, but they said the same thing for Jinx, who was on Onibaba, and they still got pissed off with Game Freak for that.
And they ended up making her purple.
Anyway,
This is why we can't have fun.
but let's get back to Vampire the Masquerade. So the first Vampire the Masquerade, Legend. Have you played it?
I have not played it. I know of it. I know its reputation.
Okay. I have actually played through a good chunk of the campaign, and I will say that it is hands down one of the best RPGs I have ever played.
Even though it's buggy as fuck.
It is buggier than Bethesda
That is definitely saying something.
because you can't even start up the game unless you patch it
Oh, shit.
on modern consoles.
I could think of several moments where I had that problem with Bethesda games, but anyway.
But it was a really good social RPG that incorporated interaction, exploration, combat if you so wished. But this is definitely a game that you can definitely try and non-violently solve your way out of problems.
Until the last 10 minutes where you actually have to fight.
No, this is
Deus Ex.
no, this is more like the original Deus Ex. Where
No, I'm talking about the original Deus Ex.
no, I thought you could vampire. I thought because
You still have to do some combat at the very end.
okay, maybe. Well, I haven't played Deus Ex, so I'm gonna just take your word on it.
I've seen like several playthroughs of the first Deus Ex. That thing is both aged gracefully and not well at all.
I would say it's still better than the remakes,
Oh yeah.
but
We were talking about the vampires.
stroking Rado's game boner aside.
Hey,
Stroking that aside, this game is going to be a future entry which takes place in Seattle,
which is technically Shadowrun territory.
not in this dimension.
I should note that there is a good reason why Seattle keeps getting picked for vampires.
Because there's no sunlight. That's the only good thing Stephanie Meyer ever did out of the Twilight books.
She did think a bit about the stuff that goes into the vampires, but
Not very well, sadly.
no, I would say that it was well thought. The problem is its
Poorly
implementation
implemented.
ended up costing a lot.
Yeah. One of the big things in Vampires the Masquerade is that there are different vampires, and specifically different vampire families, which means that depending on who your progenitor was, that impacts what kind of abilities you have. I remember the one that I played was a sort of trippy, druggy vampire who had Cthulhu, who could like influence, like do Cthulian mind games with his opponents to trip them out and distract them so he can get past in areas.
Mind control is usually broken when it comes to diplomatic situations.
Could you talk to a street sign?
Not that esoteric, but there is one encounter in the first game
where you literally have to talk to a girl's twin personalities,
Okay.
and you can only do that depending on depending on how well you build your tree. You have, of course, the typical blood monster vampire that's just a brute. You have your sexy vampire,
Which is, of course, you're sexy.
You even have a Nosferatu vampire, which immediately changes up the game because you can't be seen anywhere in public.
Yeah, considering Nosferatu, at least from the movie version, was a plague
And
thing.
they very much bring that into the Vampires the Masquerade universe.
That's cool.
So we can expect this coming out in 2020 with hopefully demos being seen sometime this year.
Yeah. Here's
Hopefully
hoping
there's alphas.
here's hoping it's good because a lot of people I know who have played the games are iffy on it at best.
Though it
And
is worth noting, I know which one you're talking about.
Well, no, I'm not talking about just him. As one of the guys I'm talking about, Count Dracula, he used to work for White Wolf like way back in the day.
Right?
He's a hardcore Vampire the Masquerade LARPer. His name is Count Dracula.
Yes, and you said that he originally worked for the system, right?
He worked for the actual game making company.
Right, and then he left.
I think he left or he quit because of bad blood.
So I'm going to call bias on his opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's still insider information.
I would, at the very least, say better than Bethesda.
At this point,
His
I'm
brother
going to
works at
agree.
Bethesda.
So I can imagine that Thanksgiving is going to be interesting come next year.
Yeah. And what sucks is Jack can't say anything about what's going on in Bethesda because it's not because of company secrets or anything. It's because he promised his brother he wouldn't say it.
Yeah, it's because you're family. You don't do that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Which also means he can't play the Outer Lands in front of his brother too. Because he's gonna be playing one time, and then that's when Obsidian's gonna have the Bethesda dig,
Yeah.
and then his brother's gonna be pissed.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's what I would imagine, and I've been telling people I know, wait for the Bethesda dig. There's going to be at least one. There's going to be at least one.
Anyway, moving on from that, we've got a really interesting Nindy, a Nintendo Indie got announced.
Brace Yourself Games hits the jackpot in terms of IPs.
They literally got their hands on Zelda's IP for their sequel to Crypta the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule.
Okay, there's one thing that I'm really looking forward to.
And that is...
Alright, Zelda historians, where do we put this one on the timeline?
We'll put it right here next to Tingle's Rupee Land.
Rosie Rupee Land. Get it right, motherfucker.
Which Zelda Link are we looking at?
Well, given from the art, we may be looking at the revamped 2 timeline.
We could be.
Yeah, we're probably looking at... It looks more like Link to the Past era.
Link to the Past era, but Zelda's using a rapier. Oh yeah, Zelda and Link are of course playable characters.
Yeah.
Yes. And this looks like it could be an absolutely fun, playable Zelda.
I will say that I'm glad Nintendo is actually using Zelda like a goddamn character and not princess fodder anymore.
You mean a goddamn playable character?
Yeah.
Because she was definitely a character in many incarnations. Tetra was an interesting character.
I was only going to say, like, unless you're just talking Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, she's an interesting character who we would love to play as. And we got Hyrule Warriors.
And she was actually fairly decent in that.
She was okay.
But every game prior, from Legend 1 to Ocarina of Time, and she didn't even show up in Majora's Mask.
In a flashback.
Flashback!
Yeah, to remind Link of what the goddamn Song of Time was.
Oh yeah, I had friends in royalty. Maybe I should remember the stuff they taught me. Oh yeah, do.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Anyway,
But yeah, it looks fantastic. It's basically Crypt of the Necrodancer in Hyrule.
Which is fantastic. Seeing knights with fucking gigantic electric ukuleles, which I assume they are going to use to smash you.
Yes.
Yep.
And not in the fun way.
So,
Though maybe it is a fun way, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, so 2 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong,
we had Raving Rabbids and Mario.
Yep.
It was last year.
Last year, okay. Last year we had Raving Rabbids and Mario.
And it would have to be one of the coolest, weirdest freaking crossovers I've ever seen.
Now we have Crypt of the Necrodancer with Legend of Zelda. Can we go ahead and have someone revive F-Zero for us? Is there someone who will revive this F-Zero corpse?
Like inject some proper lifeblood like a Joestar?
Yes.
Well, we need to kill Dio first, which is Other M.
Yeah, we gotta wait until Metroid Prime 4 comes out before they bother doing anything else.
There's also, what's the other one? The other franchise I wanted them to... Star Fox! Will any of the furry game makers pick up this poor Star Fox body?
Technically, Starlink had a good Star Fox campaign.
But that's not even... That upsets me more than it makes me happy, because someone who has absolutely no business being around Star Fox is doing a better job of Star Fox than Nintendo has.
And hasn't
Nintendo's always...
Yeah, here's the thing. Star Fox isn't even popular in Japan.
Neither is Punch-Out.
So we need we need another Whitehead Studios. We need someone who has the indie heart for Star Fox to pick up the mantle and make Star Fox great again. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah.
Make Star Fox great again.
Here's the thing. Don't give it to Miyamoto because he's...
We know what happened when we gave it to Miyamoto. Star Fox Zero happened.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to be a complete and utter asshole. Miyamoto has lost his luster. Miyamoto is no longer the great gaming grandfather that we know and love. He's now turning into that racist uncle.
All hail, Kirby guy, please.
All hail Sakurai.
All hail Sakurai!
You forgot Sakurai? You forgot Daddy Sakurai?
I don't own the...
Sacrilege!
You forgot the man who came in with an IV drip in his arm?
I don't have Smash in my home anymore, damn it. But anyway,
you need to get a Switch. You need to get Smash.
I know. I want that. What do you think I'm going to do once I pass the bar?
Okay.
Let's move on. Speaking of indie titles,
Yacht
Club. Yay!
You corporate shill.
I am a shill, and I am proud of it.
I'm not blaming you.
So while they're working on
King of Cards
on the back burner,
while they're finishing it up,
they brought out a new game that looks like a combination between Ninja Gaiden and several other games.
To be fair, I think they're the one. I think they're publishing it. I think another game company is actually producing it.
Yeah, I think it's called Machine Head.
Yeah, Machine Head is actually the one making this, and Yacht Club is actually just helping them with production
and publishing.
So this is Cyber Shadow, which if Shovel Knight filled your Mega Man DuckTales dreams, sorry. If this filled your Mega Man DuckTales dreams...
Got the wrong end of the duck there.
Then... I'm sorry, I watched a Christmas Story the other night. I forgot.
Alright.
But if you've been missing Shinobi, if you've missed the old Ninja Gaiden, if you thought The Messenger was too tongue-in-cheek for you, may I introduce Cyber Shadow.
It looks fairly interesting. We saw a demo of it recently.
We saw the demo trailer that came out with the trailer announcement that came out from PAX, and it definitely seems very much like I said, Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden, little bit of Mega Man Zero in it.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
And definitely a flair with the bosses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The one that we saw, I think, was called the Biohunter?
Biohunter.
And that got me asking questions. Is he a biomechanical hunter, or is he a hunter of bioware, or is he a hunter of, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a science thing trope to put bio in front of something and make it cooler, like Biohazard.
Yeah.
Biohazard just means there's grimy stuff that you need.
Isn't there a Godzilla monster that begins with bio?
Biohazard is the Japanese name of Resident Evil.
Bio Broly.
We do not speak of that sin. We do not speak of that sin.
I spoke
Either the way,
They only have playable demos out, proof of concept type things. Expect more coming in 2020, 2019 if we're lucky.
And speaking of indie games that got announced, Shantae 5 was announced by Way Forward.
In a kind of drive-by shooter kind of way. Shantae! And we're out.
Her hair actually is shaping the 5.
I know,
Which I think is cute.
It is.
Which, I'm going to go ahead and go on the crazy head here.
Do it.
But I'm going to say that this game focuses more on her hair powers.
So...
Which means... Shantae Bayonetta crossover!
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Ah, come on, why not?
I mean, cool, yes, but likely?
Why not? Why not? Platinum is partnered with Nintendo to have Bayonetta prancing around in Princess Peach's skirt. She has literally cosplayed as Femme McCloud.
You know what's fun?
She has summoned Bowser's goddamn fist from the underworld.
If I can go on a tangent for a second about Bayonetta, I recently started following a guy on YouTube,
Okay.
Gigaboots. His name is like Dan Video Games.
Okay.
And his friend Bob Video Games. They have an issue with Bayonetta 2, and I'm like, what?
Why?
They apparently say it's a bad game.
Well, I will say that they hit a lot of notes again. Second verse, same as the first Syndrome. I will give them that.
They were just flat out saying the combat's abysmal.
I beg, have they played DMC5?
Apparently these guys also hate Super Mario Sunshine, and he's about to do a stream of that.
Have they played DMC5?
Yes, and they love it. They say that's the better game.
You follow these guys.
I follow them because they're friends with the one Let's Player I follow, KZ, and they're doing podcasts together.
You dense motherfuckers. They literally took the things that were wrong with DMC4 and put them into Bayonetta. And then after Bayonetta was refined, they took it again and put it into DMC5. What am I missing here?
Apparently they're mixing some context.
I think...
Also, the guys, Dan and Bob, they're tech insane, and they try to make all their videos goddamn 4K.
Ah, okay, that explains a little bit more to me now. They have to stroke their hardware boners.
Oh yeah, they're literally getting they're modding consoles and stuff to get picture perfect. They believe in input lag and...
yeah, okay, yeah, that is exactly... Okay, I know where we're going. All hail the technocratic Borg.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he is. Also, he praises the bouncer. I don't know if it's a fucking joke or not.
He better be capping, otherwise I'm going to have some serious questions about his mental health.
He memed KZ into Let's Playing the Bouncer.
Have you been watching the Great Clement play that?
No, I watched KZ play the first episode of that, and I was like, I'm done! No!
Yeah, that is like...
Sion Barzad can suck a dick.
That is quite...
And I'm pretty sure he could.
That is quite the trip, as they say. If we ever want to go ahead and see what Kingdom Hearts could have been, you can go see The Bouncer.
Because this was made before Kingdom Hearts 1.
Well, fun.
It was actually... The only thing that's involving Nomura is character designs.
And because of that, and how its terrible sales went, it is a $50 game for PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you and I remember back at the old GameStop that they had that for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And they could not get rid of it for the life of them.
It was not only at the GameStop nearby our house, it was in the fucking mall GameStop as well.
Oh, really? Was it both?
Yes.
Oh, we had 2 copies in the same city. What travesty is this?
Yeah, and here's the fun fact. You know what KZ did after he finished his Let's Play of the Bouncer?
What?
He couldn't beat the final boss. So what he did, he literally snapped the disc in half, threw it in the trash, and pulled up a video of the final boss and just watched it. And talked over it. And was ranting about, fuck Bob, fuck Dan.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the Clement.
Okay.
But let's end strong here with some TV and movie news.
All right. Well, neither of these I care particularly about, so
I'll go ahead and take some stuff from here. I've been a little quiet for a while now.
Okay.
So, Supernatural is finally ending after 15 seasons.
woohoo!
Surprised it lasted pretty long for what's really just a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
You could say that, but looking at the longevity of Scooby-Doo, can you blame it?
Yeah, I mean, very true, fair enough.
Supernatural was able to tap into a lot of different mythologies and different ways of looking at the... It was basically a modern fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. And these two characters, their actors are very compelling people. And I can say, as a little bit of a fun fact, the person who plays Sam, the younger brother, if I'm not mistaken, Supernatural fans, don't bite my head off. I know of the characters, but I only know little tidbits here
You know
and there.
them at a glance.
I know them at a glance.
We
I
need
know
a
who
Kari
Sam is.
movie for this shit.
This is a little shout out to you guys, Akari Musi. But with regard to Sam, he's actually been in other stuff besides Supernatural, and I can say for a fact that the guy who plays Sam also plays a character in another series who is named Dean. So yes, Sam is both Sam and Dean. So that's fun.
Anyway, other than that, Avengers is announcing for its final movie in this series so far. Endgame is going to last 3 hours, so prepare for Return of the King levels of butt ache.
Well, this is the movie that they were literally questioning, do we put an intermission in here?
You know what? Bring it back. Because people are going to need to go to the goddamn bathroom. Their bladders are going to explode.
Well, if they don't explode for other reasons.
Eh.
Because after the end of Infinity War, my God!
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
That's the half of it.
Have you guys?
That's a joke.
Have you guys heard the rumors of how Infinity War is going to end?
How?
Infinity War ended.
Or sorry, the end game. How the end game is going to end?
How's it going to end?
It's going to end with Ant-Man going up Thanos' butt and then gigasizing.
How have you guys not heard of this?
Oh, I've heard about
I've heard
it.
about it.
I've
I didn't
seen
think
the
it
memes.
I've seen that there were reactions to it, and I saw a shuddering look on the actor's face when the idea was breached to him, which was amusing. I don't think it'll happen.
No,
Something tells me it's not going to happen.
do you know why it wouldn't happen?
Why
Disney?
would it happen?
Because Thanos would just clench his buttocks and pull the Ant-Man inside.
Oh, nuts!
And depending on which orifice he goes into, we either end up in Impreg City or Vortown.
I've never heard
Technically,
of
both ways are for. One's anal, one's oral.
I'm thinking this is horror.
That was horrible.
Oh, it was horrible.
Okay, then.
You won't hear him howling at the moon for this one.
No. Speaking of Holly,
What's coming up on the channel, Rado?
Kingdom Hearts is continuing. I believe next week we'll finally get out of Twilight Town.
woo!
Huzzah!
Yeah. Other than that, not much else on the channel. Expect podcasts every other weekend as usual.
I do have a little bit of an update regarding what I said I would try to do.
Oh, you mean with the Shield Hero videos?
Unfortunately, I did take a look around, and it looks like it's a swollen market. A lot of different people are doing different interpretations of the character by characters. And I don't know if you guys would want me to go over it the way I know these characters. Consider.
Well, the thing is, I've watched quite a few of these videos. They're mainly talking about the anime, and then just slightly talking about like the manga or the light novel. They aren't talking about the web novel.
Right, and I don't know if it would be
I've
fair.
noticed that they've gotten quite a few things wrong. Like they've gotten a few things like misinterpreted or misread, and that's kind of irritated me.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. if you guys are still here and watching the podcast,
First off, thank God.
yes, and thank you if you've made it this far. Let me know if you do want me to give my take on these characters. I've known them just about as long as anyone who's read the web novel.
Which is even before the light novel.
Mm-hmm. And I could give you the super spoiler RPG equivalent of every single character and where they ended up web novel wise. But I don't want to jump in if you guys don't want it. So let me know if you do want to see it. I'll work and see if it can happen.
In the meantime, I'm contemplating making like a separate channel for some other stuff that I want to do.
Oh, by all means.
Well, I mean like stuff involving like Pokemon and like solo Let's Plays
Sure.
and like stuff more involving the furrier aspect of me. Yes.
Go for it.
But until I can actually start drawing the stuff, it's just on the back burner for now.
All right. Well,
Other than
hopefully you get it done.
hopefully, if I can actually get off my ass.
You'll see.
Well, if that's it, then I guess we'll go ahead and sign off.
This is Leo Force.
This is Legend Hunter.
And this is Rado, and we are the Stardust Hunters signing off.
Later, guys!
Later.
Ciao.